India 7, Lima, India, Foxtrot, standing by for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net.
Good evening. This is Bob, K9PQ. Welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I have Ron checked in via video, and I heard KI7LIF. Could you come back with your name, please? I'm afraid I don't remember it.
It's James.
Okay, thank you, James. We've got you. And just as we're starting things off, I'll remind everyone to make sure to let the repeater drop all the way. For short transmissions, it's not a big deal, but before you take your turn, make sure you let it drop all the way first so that you reset the timer. Okay, so we've got Ron and James. Ron, do you have Lee with you?
That's affirmative, I do. Yes.
Okay, thanks. And somebody just switched me in. Oh, was that you, Ron?
Affirmative, yes.
Okay, very good, thanks. Yeah, I may have to lean on you for that. I'll check it tonight, but it hasn't been working the last few times. Okay, let's take more check-ins. Anyone to check into the WatsNet, please come now.
K7ATS, Richard in Kent.
Good evening, Richard, K7ITX. Thanks for joining us. Anyone else to check in? Okay, well, we sometimes have a few people join later, so let's start off with Ron and Lee at KD7QKU. This is K9PQ and the WatsNet. Go right ahead.
It helps if I get on the right frequency. K9PQ in the group. This is KD7QKU. And I said hi to James up in Everett. We haven't heard him for a while. Nice to hear you. And hi to Richard. I think Richard has probably a story to tell us tonight. And Lee, we have Lee on. And I had a text from the other James, W7N, and said he was stuck in a homeowners meeting and he wasn't sure he would be here in time. So maybe he'll come in a little bit late, hopefully. So, I guess we can go over to Lee.
There is no echo link for me. Okay, wow, my video popped right up there, and frankly, it's remarkable, and I'm looking for my stopwatch. Okay, I've got what I'm going to do is get a speed on this thing. So I have my finger up right now. So I'm starting the stopwatch now. Wow, under 3 seconds. Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, well, good evening to you, Bob, and was it James in Everett? And Richard, by golly, good to hear you on. I was just about to tell Ron that I got an email from Rob today saying that the new fast internet access had died sometime on Sunday. It's the so-called AccelNet, and I think it's associated with. I better head and say because I don't know for sure. But judging by the speed of the streaming service, holy smokes, that's something. That's very, very fast for here. Anyway, so good evening, and I'm just here. Had a good day. The weather was really nice today. It warmed up nicely. A sunroom. We had to open the sliders to keep it down under 90 degrees, and so forth. And had an old lunch with an old friend from the university who lives on Bainbridge Island. So it was a fun day. Anyway, this is N7KC. I'm third party, courtesy of Ron and Skype, and I'll send it back to Nat. Thanks, Ron.
Okay, let me make sure I've got it here. Okay, thanks, Lee. Good to see you out there. And I counted I was just counting it out, but it was very close to 3 seconds for me, too, I think under. And let's go to James, KI7LIF. Good evening, James.
Good evening, Bob and Ron and Lee over in the walls of Port Angeles. Good to hear you, and oh yeah, and I can't forget Richard. Anyway, just thought I'd check in here ahead of time, and that before the net started. So anyway, I have some good news to tell you guys. Kelly gave me, with KI7GBM, gave me a BTEC UV50x3 tri-bander transceiver mobile unit, and that's what I'm talking on right now. And with that said, I'll turn it back to net control.
Oh, well, it sounds really good, Richard. A real good signal coming out there. I'm sorry, James. I was already looking ahead to the next one on the list. Very nice sound there, James. And good for you on the new rig. Okay, on we go to Richard, K7ITX. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bob. And good evening to you, and Ron, and Lee, and James. Good to hear all you guys out there. Yeah, I picked up a cold. I don't know if it was the stress of the Hamfest. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I I think it probably has a lot more to do with the fact that the YL had the very same thing a week prior. In fact, I'm pretty much following exactly the same roadmap that she laid out. So she says, "Oh, don't blame it on me. If with all you around all those people," well, I knew I should just keep my mouth shut at that point. Sometimes silence is golden. But I think I told you guys I was going to be involved in helping move some of our silent key, Scott NB7N, and his gear on at the TL Hamfest. And I'll say one thing. You know how people like yourselves and me, and we have 401k plans. We invest in mutual funds and or stocks and bonds and things like that. And some of us even buy gold or Cougarams. Probably is the best example I can think of. Where Scott NB7N, he bought ham radio gear. That was his treasure, and I am not kidding you. So, as Ron can attest, I could talk about this for hours, everything I saw. So I'll have no problem with a few more check-ins down the road. K7ITX, back to net.
Well, thanks, Richard. And if I can suggest a topic, I'm curious to know how much of it sold and maybe what sort of things sold well, maybe what didn't sell so well. Don't need specifics, but just a general idea. Okay, so I guess I'm up. Before I take my turn, let's just call out once more for check-ins. I think I see another video signal trying to get in out there, but it's not really making it. I thought we might hear from Gary or Jim. So let's put out another call and see if there's anyone to check into the WatsNet. This is K9PQ. Go ahead, please. Nothing heard. Okay, well, let me switch off of the boring color bars and get to the boring me instead. Oh, man, this is really fast. Really fast. I'm not going to time it, at least not for this time around, but this is as snappy as I have ever seen the internet, so very happy. Well, it was a long and kind of late day for me today at work. I didn't get home till about 7, so I'm dragging a little bit, but it's nice to see everyone, and I hope we do get... I hope James, thanks for letting me know about James. The other James, WW7N, I hope he is able to get back from the homeowners meeting and join us. And I hope we hear from Jim and Gary as well. So let's see. I am enjoying already, even though it's just started, the warmer weather. I went out in shirt sleeves today, and it was nice. I didn't have to worry about anything getting to 90 degrees, mind you, like Lee, but it was very nice, and it's supposed to be off and on sunshine and clouds over the next several days, and getting all the way up to 60 and mostly sunny on Sunday. It's a bit early for that prediction, but if that holds, that will be mighty nice. It sounds like in general it's going to be getting warmer and with a fair amount of sun, so that's exciting. Okay, I guess I'll leave it right there for now, and we'll head back up to the top to Ron. This is Bob, K9PQ. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I guess I'll do a little preamble that I didn't do at the start. Let me break. We operate a repeater on Cougar Mountain, and the uplink is in the 440 band, downlink in the 1.2 gig band. And we use this repeater for coordination, which we normally could do via the video repeater itself because it can handle audio, but we are limited by the, I want to call it the A line. Someone can correct me if that's not right. So we're limited in our bandwidth we can use, so that we don't get outside of the legal band limits for this part of the country. Okay, with all of that said, I want to go to Ron. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. This is KD7QKU. And James, KI7LIF up there in Everett, if you have a computer and you want to Google our call sign, which is what is it? Watts. Whatever. I can't say it. Oh, yeah, WW7ATS. Lee is prompting me behind here. So I have a picture of my brother and I guess his call sign is stuck in my head. So anyway, if you Google that, and then you'll get a picture, you'll be on our web page, and then is there still the picture of the girl sitting on the bench? Maybe. Anyway. And then up at the top of the title line up there, you'll see streaming, and if you click on streaming, well, then you can see what's on the computer. We stream it on the computer, so you can see my beautiful picture. So anyway, let it drop for a second. So today, my nieces called me. My brother and my sister-in-law passed away some years ago. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's not a very good picture. So they asked us to come over if we wanted to and get some things. And so this is one of the things I got. The picture of my brother in his ham shack. It's got a reflection on the glass. Let me turn off this other TV set here. Let's see if that works a little better. So this is no, it's still not working very good. I'm getting the monitor on there. So anyway, you can there you go. You can kind of see maybe. So that he was probably coming down with Parkinson's at that time. It looks like says the picture was taken in 2001, and he had some radios there on the desk. They were Drake TX3s. He had bought them, I don't know, sometime probably in the 60s. And today I was telling them they should sell them, but we couldn't find them, so I don't know what happened to them. It was kind of a shame in a way, it's what happens to everybody when they pass away. Everybody changes everything. So after he passed away, they taken his radio shack and taken everything out of it. It was just like a small bedroom in the house. And I don't know where they put the stuff. But anyway, I don't know. Anyway, that's what happened. Richard, what's going on here with my picture? So anyway, my picture was looking kind of funny. Real dark. If I can lighten it up a little bit. Just the way it's coming in, I guess. So anyway, we went over there and got a few things. I got a clock. My sister had lived in England for a while, and she had sent this to him as a gift. I don't have the clock here. It's a little round clock, and it has a little glass dome that goes over the top, and there's almost like a little carousel thing that turns around underneath it. Pretty common clock, but I don't know how old it is. So anyway, they asked me if I wanted that, and I'd taken that. And then I brought it home, and I tried to wind it, and of course, either the spring in it is broke or it's come disconnected. So I guess I'll have to take it over someplace and see if they can repair it. And then we brought home a table, a nice little table, to replace one that we had. So that was kind of how I spent my afternoon. And it's always kind of sad when I go over there and see my brother's stuff and everything. So anyway, I think everybody knows how that goes. All right, let's go over to Lee.
Okay. Lee and 7KC in Port Angeles again. Well, okay. Rob is watching. He's paying attention to what's going on tonight. He made a change in the YouTube account where he turned off the digital video recorder. And now at my place it stays live all the time. It doesn't keep dropping out and going to the recorder. And it looks ever so much better. So I think he hit on the right thing to do there, for sure. Anyway, Ron, the thing, I'm watching the stream, the astonishing thing is the video quality from your scan converter going up to the transmitter. It's really amazing. Just amazing. Anyway, and you look really good. Bob looks wonderful. His digital video is just so nice. And I might add that you can get the stream by going to YouTube and just typing in WW7ATS. I believe that's what it is. It's either WW7ATS or WW7ATS, which is the actual call. And it'll take you right to the live stream on YouTube. So that's a really easy way to get it. You can see it directly from YouTube that way. So I don't have much else to add here except to say that the Exolink is not connected tonight. When I go to use it, my phone reports that W7DME-R is not connected into the system. So I can't use it. But Rob says that's an issue that they're more than thinking about, and I think actively pursuing something about that. Okay, I don't have anything else at this juncture. This is N7KC, third party, courtesy of KD7QKU and Skype. Back to Ned.
Okay, KD7QKU, back to Ned.
I almost forgot to let it drop myself. Well, I'm gonna mix up the order just a little bit to make things easier on Ron. So I'm gonna do James, then I'll take my turn, and then we'll do Richard, and that will give Ron a lot more time to switch the video. So James, KI7LIF, it's all your turn.
Hey Ron, when it's back to your turn, can you pull up, show what you picked up from your brother's place, from your sister-in-law, when it's your turn. Anyway, I have nothing else to say, so I will turn it back to Net, KI7LIF, back to Net.
James, are you watching the streaming?
Yes, I am on my phone.
Okay, James, let me make sure I got it here. So we're hearing the sound coming through your phone, so I'd recommend you mute that, but I'm guessing that's what Ron was going to say. Did you have anything else, Ron?
No, I just wondered if he was watching our streaming, because he asked me to show what I got over at my brother's, and so it made me think he was watching. So I was just curious. So he confirmed that. So anyway, all right, KD7QKU.
Okay, good enough. Well, let's see. I will take my turn. So, Ron, please switch me in there and get over to the video. I thought this was going to make it easier for you, but just remember that I'm right after James now. So, but this will make it easier to switch back again because you'll have all of Richard's turn to switch back. Okay, well, let's see. Ron, yeah, your signal, it's interesting. It was dark. It was actually dark from the very start, darker than usual, but it always, sometimes it is a little bit dark, so I thought, well, maybe it's just what it is. And then, as you noticed, it went very dark. And so I noticed Lee does not have that problem, so I don't think it's anything to do with your video gear. You might want to, if you've got a different video camera, you might want to try using a different video camera. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, I'm interested to hear what Richard has to say, so I think I'll... before I go to Richard, let's just check one more time if we've got anyone else to check into the net tonight. Okay, this is Bob, K9PQ, it's the Watts Net, and let's go on to Richard, K7ITX. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll agree. The streaming is fantastic. The latency is, at my end, is less than 3 seconds, and yes, and even on streaming, everything appears to be a little dark. But I'll take darkness over what we had before that. Let me break for a second. There, I had to get a cough. So anyway, so we all met over at Scott's former QTH, and we had no idea what we were getting involved in. He hasn't been gone that long, and his partner was, I guess she'd been probably sick like I am. And anyway, we get over there, and we were just shocked by what we saw. A couple IC 7000 transceivers, brand new. Yaesu FT 6200 dual band. Swan 700 CX HF transceiver. Swan 500. ICOM TS670, TS711A, TS811A, IC737A, Hewlett-Packard HP Spectrum Analyzer. That thing we would not sell, or try to, but we had people trying to steal it, and I think brand new, or if you tried to buy one new or even remotely new, you're into thousands and thousands and thousands. So that went back home to Rhonda's house. Kenwood D700A. I saw you wave, Ron. I don't know if was I about to time it out, maybe. Anyway, it just was spectacular. 5 pallets, 3 tables full, and I'll continue in my next round. K7ITX, back to net.
Okay, very good, Richard. Just as a reminder, I'm really curious what kind of things sold and what didn't. I've never actually tried selling anything down there. Okay, back we go to the top, and Ron. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, I guess I'm on the right frequency. All right, so I went and got the clock. So, James up there in Everett, if you're looking, here's the clock.
Was this something you got from your brother's place?
Yes, affirmative. It's nothing spectacular. I mean, you see things like that over at Goodwill all the time. I guess they thought it had sentimental value and I should have it. So my sister, who was older than my brother and who passed away a long time ago, her husband worked over in England. He worked for the Sperry Rand Company, I think, at that time, and he was an engineer, and he worked over there. And apparently they either sent it to my brother and sister as a present, or they brought it home and gave it to them. I don't know which way, but they got it in 1958, so they'd had it since 1958. So anyway, I brought it home today, and I has the key for it, and I've taken the glass off, tried to wind it, and the spring just goes around and around. So I don't know if it's possible that they can come unhooked or if it just broke. So I don't know if I want to pay to have it fixed, but I guess I will take it someplace and get an estimate on fixing it. Shows, some wear and tear. But anyway, that's what I got. And the table is out in the living room, and it has stuff on it. I can't bring that in, James. But that's about it. And then the picture, I tried to show you the picture earlier. And my brother was a ham a long time before I was. Spent many hours over to his house. I didn't become a ham because I didn't like Morse code. I tried to learn it a couple times, and I was like dyslexic or something. It was just really difficult for me to learn. He learned Morse code when he was in the Navy, and so he had known it ever since he was 18, 19 years old. He always said it was just like singing a song. You just sort of sung a song when you did it, And so anyway, but he didn't do a lot of Morse code. He did some. He didn't mostly voice. But he had those TRX3s, Drake TRX3s, and he had a VFO with them and everything. And he had a tower and a beam. What was it? 10, 20, and 40, I think. Can't remember now. But anyway, he got rid of all that stuff a long time ago. All right, let's go over to Mr. Lee and see what Lee has on his mind for right now. You're up, Lee.
Okay. It's in 7KC, Lee, and Port Angeles. Oh, yes. I just had the stream on my phone, and in fact, I showed Ron when he was on Skype. I just held it up to the camera, and it works very well. There is not a mute button for the audio. The only way to mute that is to turn it down on your phone. I couldn't find a button like on YouTube proper where you can just mute the audio, because I'm listening to Skype, and the audio is it's a couple of seconds displaced, so it's quite confusing to try to listen to both. But anyway, the video quality on the phone was excellent. And actually, it may have been slightly faster, believe it or not, than the actual stream. I was using, that can't be true, because I was certainly using Wi-Fi, which is going through our local internet thing here. But I noticed things pop up on the screen on the phone slightly faster than I saw them come up on the computer, which was running at the same time. Not very much difference, but it was perceptible. So I take that to mean that somehow the phone is running a little faster than the computer system. I just texted some friends down, they're in Palm Springs down there. They'll be coming home later this end of the month, saying, hey, get on YouTube and search on, and now, by the way, I did it. It's WW7ATS. So the easy way to get our stream is simply go to YouTube, hit that search button, type in WW7ATS, Alpha Tango Sierra, and then it pops right up, and just hit the live screen, which is the top one, and it's off and running, and it looks really good. Very, very easy to do without, you don't have to Google anything, and you don't have to, really straightforward and simple. And may, in fact, be even better because, I don't know, maybe you're going through less hardware and less processing in various systems. I don't really know. Anywho, I don't have anything else. My time is up in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Third party, courtesy of KD7QKU and Skype. Back to net.
Okay, KD7QKU. Back to net.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks, Ron and Lee. Okay, I thought I had something to say, but now I've forgotten it. So let's go right to James, KI7LIF. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Bob. to let you know I like your vanity plate hanging up in the background there. Very nice. So anyway, yeah, very nice clock, Ron. Nice old-fashioned vintage. Yeah. Anyway, I have nothing else to say, so I'll turn it back over to Net Control. This is KI7LIF.
Okay, James, thank you. Let me break. And Ron, if you'll switch me in. Maybe the stream is slow. Am I switched in, Ron?
Yep, here we go.
Okay, I still don't see it yet, but there we go. There we go. Now it's coming in. Yeah, I mean, you can switch me anytime after your turn. So it's just James between you and me. Let's see, I made a couple notes. So, Lee, you mentioned that Rob turned off the recorder. I'm guessing that was the YouTube recorder. So this live YouTube signal is not going to be around after we're done today, I think, if I heard you right. And that actually makes some sense as that could affect the delays and just how well streaming is working. Ron, I was able to see that picture, and yeah, the reflection of whatever that monitor was got in the way a little bit, but I was able to see the picture a bit, and yeah, those drakes. I don't know drakes, but that sounds like those TRC3X. I forget exactly what you said. I think that's sort of their classic radios. So it probably would be worth trying to get get those found and not just have them just sit somewhere in a closet. My goodness, I'm sort of I think talked out for the night, but let's turn it over to Richard, and we'll keep on forging ahead. This is Bob, K9PQ, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Over to you, Richard.
Okay, Bob. Well, I'll get straight to the answer to your question about how the stuff sold by saying that even after we unloaded 5 pallets, and even before the sale started, the other people there that had tables, in a nice, I don't know how to say it nicely, but in a nice way, I don't mean in any derogatory fashion, they were just like vultures. They crowded around. We couldn't even hardly get stuff off the pallets before they were, and we, at this point, still didn't know what we had. I mean, I did a rough inventory, but literally, within about 20 minutes, we had $4,500 in our hands, and 500 of it was in one of the boxes where Scott had hidden $500 cash. So, and then, now that's 5 pallets, barely got on the 3 tables, and then next morning, Rhonda shows up with another truckload, 2 more pallets worth of stuff. I'm by myself. I receive that stuff. I have no idea where to put it. I'm trying to price things out, So the way things seem to sell. Let me take a break. And I wasn't too surprised by this. In fact, I kind of would expect this for we're talking about a flea market that, generally speaking, people that are shopping, if they're shopping for something specific, they know what they can buy it for on eBay or Amazon, that sort of thing. So we knew we had to be under that. But yet on the other hand, we didn't want to give it away, and you know, we didn't want to have anybody get a real good steal either. So it seemed like if we were about halfway between the Amazon, eBay price and what people would consider a steal, if we were kind of halfway down, you know, maybe if something was brand new for $350, generally speaking, we might be able to sell it for $190, that sort of thing, or $180, and it was no problem. So after figuring out, after putting 2 more pallets under the 3 tables, and just to try to make this story a little bit shorter, is out of 7 pallets, we sent only 2/3 of 1 pallet back to Rhonda's house. And I'm sure we collected well over $10,000 easily. And this is just the beginning. K7ITX, back to net.
Well, thank you for that, Richard, and I am very happy to hear that. A little surprised, because I haven't been in a little while, but, you know, you see all the tables and you see a lot of stuff that just sits, but most of it's not good stuff like you had. So that's great news. Okay, let me not monopolize too much here. Let's go back to Ron, KD7QKU. Go ahead, Ron.
My, that's fine, Bob. Talk all you want. Well, let's see. Oh, I wasn't here for the net on Saturday night, I guess. North Seattle Rock and Lapidary Mineral Club had a show up there on Crown Hill. There's a old school up there. It's now sort of a community center or something. So they had the auditorium and a couple other rooms, and they had it filled with exhibitors selling stuff, and then they put their cases together, and then people put things in the cases. Joanne put some rocks and stuff in one case, and I spent the whole weekend talking with guys that did faceting. If you don't know what faceting is, that's making gemstones, like a diamond cutter. So they have a little round wheel, and they have the stone, you know, attached to an arm, and they press it against the wheel, and they grind in the facets. And so I've been kind of interested in that for a couple of years, but I never really sit down with the guys and start talking to them. So you know how it is, you show an interest in something, and all of a sudden they get really excited, and they want you to get a machine, and they're going to show you how to do it. So, but machines are kind of expensive. I don't know if I'm going to find a used one that I can afford and that I think will be good enough. I'd kind of like to have one with a dial indicator on it. The better ones have a dial indicator, so when you press the stone against the grinding surface, you look at the dial indicator, and you know, go to 0 each time, so that each facet you cut on the stone is the same width and everything. If you cut one deeper or shallower than the other, they're uneven, and that's not a sign of a good gem cutter. But it's a lot easier. So so some guys learn how to cut by touch, and they move the arm back and forth a number of times, and they count each time, and they do each facet with the same amount of pressure and the same amount of passes on the stone, and then they keep going over and over, and then you change all the adjustments, and then you do it again until it looks like a gemstone. So it takes quite a bit of work. But some of the prettiest ones he had, they were actually made out of glass marble. So let me let it drop. So they had a case there with a lot of beautiful gems in it, and at night he only taken a few of them out, and he left some of the what I thought were really nice ones there. And his name was Michael, and I said, "Hey, Michael, aren't you going to take the rest of them out?" He said, "No, I just taken the valuable ones out." He said, "The rest of those are mostly made out of glass, colored glass." He said that was those two are made out of marbles, and that one over there is made out of a Coke bottom of a Coke bottle and stuff. He said it's real easy to cut glass, he said, but it doesn't hold up like a gemstone. But he said to learn how to do it and for display and big things that people like to see. Big stones, are kind of expensive. If you had a big diamond in there, you'd probably spend millions of dollars, But anyway, so yeah, it wasn't a diamond, it was a marble. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. So I think maybe there's a faceting machine in my future if I can find one for sale that I can afford to buy. And when I say afford to buy, I want one like $700 or $800. Kind of like a HF radio, I guess. So anyway, who knows? So far I've looked at eBay and Craigslist and I haven't seen anything, so I don't know. My chances might be slim to none. All right, let's go over to Lee.
Oh, I'm telling. This is Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles. It's just astonishing how this video just snaps to. This is really fun. Anyway, well, I've been. Mario's on. Mario checked in. I'm sure he can hear me talking. And Bob, I sent out some live chats, and Bob acknowledged Mario as well. Mario says awesome. Anyway, the performance is astonishing. Having that DVR certainly did confuse the system. Right now it's running live all the time. The little button here says live. And it used to be that as soon as it went to noise, it would get trashed, and then it took a long time to recover, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so anyway, Rob has got access to the YouTube account now to change the setup parameters. And so he reasoned well on this one. He got it right. Turn that thing off. It makes a huge difference in performance. Not bad. Oh, jeepers. I don't have any... What are we? 45 minutes into the net already. I had to go over and look at the clock there. But anyway, so I'm going to... I don't have much else to add. So anyway... No. It's been cold here. It's been cold. I had an opportunity to go Sunday before last, or Saturday, but we had the birthday party for the 97th birthday party for Grandma, and I couldn't go. But it would have been a bundle-up day. It was a good wind for sailing. It was great. But boy, that would be cutting out on the water, I'll tell you. Whoa. Cool stuff. Okay, it's 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles, third party, courtesy of Skype and KD7QKU. Back to net.
Okay, this is KD7QKU. Back to net.
Hey, Ron, I couldn't hear what you asked Lee that he answered. Something about sailing. Is this him sailing his own boat, or is he crewing on a boat?
He's been crewing on other boats. He's in the yacht club up there, and there's lots of boats. They all want him to go help them.
Okay, thanks. Okay, let's go to James, KI7LIF. Go ahead. Oh, let me just say, this is Bob, K9PQ, and it's the WatsNet. And now let's go to James.
All right, Bob, actually, why don't you go ahead and take it, because I'm going to go ahead and go to monitoring mode. So, anyway, with that said, back to net, KI7LIF, clear and monitoring from the net.
Okay, very good, James. Okay, well, let's see. Please switch me in there, Ron, when you get a chance. And I'll put it on the picture here. Well, when I look at my picture, it doesn't look so good as Ron's and Lee's pictures. So I think it may be time to adjust. Excuse me. It may be time to adjust my digital output here. intentionally made it low so that it wouldn't overwhelm the internet access that we had. But if our internet is better, it might be time to increase the digital throughput just a little bit from here. Anyway, it's looking good, and I'm just so happy with the latency and the video coming through. Let's see if I had anything else written down here. Not that I can see. Liam, I guess we're getting into the good sailing season as it starts to warm up a little bit, but you've still got winds, so good for you on that. And I might actually get out this weekend. I can't remember what I have planned, but if the weather's nice, I might actually get out, go somewhere. I don't know. So, okay, well, let's, I think that's good for me. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX. This is K9PQ and the Watson Net. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, K9PQ, K7ITX. I'll make this my 73. I will say that the guys were real quick to tell Rhonda how Scott had donated the ATV repeater that he has to your group. So I think there's still a really good chance to get our hands on that. I'm not as optimistic about the standalone ATV station, unfortunately. And the reason why I say that is because the standalone station and the repeater are two different locations. The standalone station happens to be in storage with lots and lots and lots of really good stuff. And I have to venture to guess that when that stuff starts to get liquidated, unfortunately, it's going to be hard for the ATV station not to go with it, unless for some reason, they bring it to my attention, and of course I know what to do with it. I'll make haste and I'll put it in the back of my rig. But the repeater, that's a whole nother ball game. That is in a real awkward place, and I can't picture anybody going there to, it's possible, but you're going to have to really want it, and you're going to have to really want to pay for it. And as you know, it's one of these things that's not widely known about. There's not a huge demand, and I think it's mainly the location. It's going to be one of these deals when the owner decides to pay attention to the stuff in this one particular area, that it'll just be a question of just getting it out of there, and of course I'll get it out of there, but it'll be under the original circumstances I was going to get it out of there. So anyway, it's all, I just hope I get invited back, quite honestly. It was a fantastic experience, a one-in-a-lifetime experience, and I think I helped a lot. It seemed like everything went really well, but it's none of my business, and I have to be invited. So anyway, that's my story. Everyone have a good night. 73, K9PQ, K7ITX. Back to net.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Richard. That is really interesting, and I agree, that was quite an experience, and boy, it sounded like you had your hands full just trying to keep up with all the buyers. And that's very heartening to hear that. I'm glad. Okay, back we go to the top to Ron, KD7QKU, and the WatsNet. Go ahead, Ron.
Back over here on the right frequency. There is one other thing I got at my brother's house. So, this is a little GE portable radio, takes C cells, and it was in real nice shape. He had several of these, most of them larger than this and other brands. I did have one almost exactly like this that was a Sony, and I gave it to my son a couple of weeks ago. He's building a house out on his property, and he didn't have a radio to listen to anything on, so I guess I taken a soft spot in my heart for him, so I taken a radio out to him, and he was glad to get it. But it was a nice little Sony radio. Some of these older radios, this is a GE, some of these older radios, the receivers in them are really good. They pick up when you're out of the city, out in the countryside. This one I probably will put in the motorhome because it's a little bit smaller. I have a bigger one. That's a GE. Oh, and there's one more thing I might add. Today I got the statement again. It's been a month from BECU. And lo and behold, they had credited our account that $22.43 that we were missing. So we're all square now. So as soon as our illustrious president gets home and we can get down here to the Washington Federal Bank and open a new account, I will transfer all that over and we'll have a different bank account. I think one that'll be easier to manage. So hopefully that'll happen next week. So anyway, let's go to Lee. 73, everybody, and nice hearing from you, and nice to hear from James up in Everett. And I wish the other James had been on, and Jim, but they are not. And I think Gary's probably headed to the Panama Canal myself. So over to Lee.
Okay. Oh my goodness sake, that's amazing, just amazing. Well, Mario. I'm not caught. There's something about YouTube right at the moment. I'm not. It says it's live, but it hasn't caught up. It's doing some work here. Anyway, Mario, I think, has been using the DVR function to play the nets down there over their system in Southern California. And so his comment on live chat was, does that mean that the DVR is off the net, it's not being recorded? And I said, I suspect that is true. But he says, but the stream is running great. And he said he'll have to do the same with his YouTube stream. And he signed off. He said 73. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, I think that's it from here. And we're about 4 minutes from pumpkin time. So, and still hasn't caught up. This is interesting. Just hang on a second, Ron. I'm going to reload it here and see if it. Okay, that's all I had to do was to reload YouTube, and without that DVR on, it was very fast to reload. Just boom. Alrighty, that's it for me. This is Lee at 7KC in Port Angeles. Third party, courtesy of KD7QKU and Skype. Back to net, and we'll see you all down the pike. Good night.
KD7QKU.
Okay, very good, Lee. And I'm late saying this. I meant to say this after your last turn. I don't know if you bumped your mic or something, but it was a little further away from your. Oh, get it on the video. It was a little further away from your mouth, and your voice got a bit low. Something just to remember for next net, I guess. A little too late for now. Well, yeah, great to see you guys and hear you, and nice to see that Mario got on there. And, I always thought it was nice that our nets were recorded. I figured we could go back and look, but I don't think I ever did once. I thought about doing it a couple times, especially when the live stream was not going so well. I thought, well, maybe it'll be better in replay. But this suits me just fine. I actually think I kind of like it better not recording. It's more like regular ham radio, you know. It's out there, and then it goes away, and it's just what it is. So, okay, well, I will say thank you to the SeaTac Repeater Group for allowing us the use of the repeater here. We meet 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Wednesday and Saturday evenings, and use this frequency to coordinate our video transmissions. And we appreciate the time. So with that, I think I will say this is Bob, K9PQ, and I am closing the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net at 8:58. Have a good night, all.